Welcome to my channel. I go by the name Chosen Spiritual. Today I want to discuss my visit, with Satan, my encounters with him in the spiritual realm. So the encounters that I would have with him is that it was almost like immature, childish. He would always point at my insecurities and just different things to try to lower my vibration down. It wasn't, of course, the red, devil that you would see physically in a world where they betray him. The spirit that will come to me in a dream state will always be, he would try to mask itself as people that I knew personally, like family and friends and stuff like that. So he would masquerade into these type of people. So he would try to get some type of covenant with me in a dream state, some type of agreement with me so he can have access. And so it wasn't, I'm going to give you this if you do this. No, it wasn't none of that. It wasn't, it was always tactics, always manipulative tactics, childish type of games, that he would try to pull information from me, my next move and stuff like that. And he would masquerade into people that I knew. And of course, if you see somebody in a dream state that you assume that that's them. And, you want to give them a handshake or you want to hug them, things of that nature. If you're familiar, if you know somebody, of course. But yeah, he was always trying to get some type of agreement with me. He was always pointing at my insecurities. He would bring up things. It was just weird, childish things that he would do. And this was all just to lower my vibration down. And I think a lot of this stuff was induced. And what I mean by induced is that I talked about this specific family member, that I was once close to. So he was able to, he had access to my clothes, things that had my DNA, whether it was a brush or some, things of that nature, pictures and stuff like that. So he would take these items back to these lodges. Freemasons got these lodges. So he would send entities to, the things that he had of me. So the low vibration entities that they would conjure up, he would send them to me in a dream state. And so that's when the attacks started happening. So in a dream state, it was almost like I was in a video game. I was being chased. It was just weird activities going on, out of body experience where I would be in a car wreck, my car would, flip and I can see the outer body of it, because I'm outside, and I can see it, just weird things like that. It was almost like a video game type of state, you just running and doing all type of activities. And you see these familiar, people that but that that's not them. Because if you look at them closely, you can tell that Satan tries his best to copy and masquerade as people that so he can get a type of agreement. So when I would look at these people, I can see that it wasn't them. He will try to capture, the best he could. But if you really pay attention, you can see the flaws, So Satan, he's very manipulative. He has different tactics and different strategies. And so every time he would come in my dream state, he will always, attack me on my insecurities. He was always, just childish. I remember one time he was talking to somebody in a dream state. This is an out of body experience again. And so he would, of course I was in the world when I was in my 20s, and so I was talking about, money and stuff like that. And I was talking to somebody saying that, nothing would come between me and my money, and I can see that person get up and then go over to the other side and tell somebody exactly what I just said. And it was almost like Satan, of course he's masquerading as people. And so he's telling, it seemed like, and I couldn't see who he was telling, but it was somebody of authority, somebody of power. And I'm assuming it was God. And basically whatever gifts that God had for me, futuristic, that Satan was trying to manipulate God in a sense, like, hey, he doesn't deserve that. Look what he just said. It was just childish game. It's like Satan is I don't know. It's just childish. Pretty much all I can say. But he would always try to get some type of agreement with me in a dream state, whether it's people that I know or try to give me hugs, and those are just Satan, masquerading as people to try to get some type of agreement. And like I said, a lot of this stuff was induced through witchcraft with that family member I was telling you. That was, he was astral projecting in my dream. The actual family member that was actually doing it at these lodges. So, and like I said, this is witchcraft, sorcery at high levels. So yeah, if you're not aware of it, these people can take you down. And what I mean by that is that they try to play God over your life if you at a low vibration. From the very beginning, of course, I always had a relationship with the Most High. I'm not saying I was talking to him every day, but when I was in the world, it was easy for them to attack me, and it would be times that I would wake up in the middle of the night and see Satan knows if you're in the word or not. He knows, you can have a relationship with God and still not know the word. Your anointing is not powerful where it should be. So it's harder for you to fight these fights if you're not close to God. And so even though I had a relationship from the beginning with God, it wasn't as close as it was now. Like I had, to this point, as I got older, I had to cling on to it, and it was times that from the beginning, my attacks from the beginning was vicious because he knew that my anointing and was weak. So he was able to just come in and he would just wear me out. So I would wake up the next day, we all have 9 to 5s or whatever, jobs that we have to attend to, different activities. So I would be so tired and so drained by fighting with Satan in a dream state, whether he's, chasing me, out of body experience. It was always some type of activity where it was almost like a video game in a sense. I was just doing stuff that, just that I wouldn't do, in the physical. It was just crazy. It's like I had like certain different powers, but I was just being attacked by, animals and, dogs chewing. It was just weird stuff, weird activity that was going on. And a lot of this stuff, like I said, it was sorcery and witchcraft that was from this family member. So, and it's just basically just to wear you out. Anytime that they can wear you out, to the point where you're drained, you're not going to want to do God's work. You're not going to want to do anything. You just want to just sleep all day. And then when you're at a low level, the spirit of depression comes in. It's more easy for them to do those rituals that they do in these lodges to keep you down. They need you at a low vibration. So, when I was being attacked by Satan, it wasn't, well, I'm going to, do this for you. He didn't give me no ultimatum. He just came in and just started attacking, And so it would be times that I would be in a dream state and he would just do weird things. Like it's just kind of hard to explain. It's almost like a video game, He would try to suffocate me, he would try to choke me. He would just weird stuff, and I would have to call out God's name. I would actually have to call it out, and it was my encounters was very intense. But as I got closer to God, he was able to step in and fight, my battles a little bit more. But you have to do the work. You have to, be in the prayers. You have to know everything. The more you do, the more God is going to do. But at first, when I wasn't clinging to God like I was, I would, be running around in a dream state, and I would just be, just basically just fending for my life. But I'm in the spirit, and it was just Satan, haunting me. And like I said, a lot of this stuff was induced for me to give up, to to not believe in God, and stuff like that. Like Satan's trying to he try to deter you away as much as possible. The farther you away from God, the more likely he's going to attack you. And the scary thing, if he's not attacking you, then he got you where he needs you to be. If you don't have any encounters with Satan, that's a dangerous place to be. That means you are already, he got you. You're on his team already, so you have to take that into consideration also. So yeah, that was my encounters, with Satan in a dream state. It's almost like a video game. He was just masquerading as people that I knew, and then he would try to point out insecurities and then try to come into agreement with me, and then he would try to, appear as just, people that I knew just to attack me. So that was my encounter, with Satan. And I remember waking up one time. This is a quick one. I remember he was attacking me, just non-stop, through the whole week. And I remember waking up, and I remember going off. I was upset. I was pissed. And I remember, and I was talking to the Most High. And I was telling them, man, how could you let him do this to me? And I was upset. I can't remember everything I was saying, but I remember I was going off. I was pissed. And this is, and I remember the Most High, he always, when he speaks, he always get me right before I go to sleep, or he'll speak right when I wake up. It's like that little gray area right there. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's like a gray area right before you wake up. And so I remember snapping one time, and I was upset with the Most High because I felt like he was just letting this happen. And I remember the Most High responded back quickly. The next night when I was about to go back to sleep, I remember him saying hey, I can't remember the exact word, but he was like, you need to stop doing such and such, such and such, such and such. He was chastising me, telling me hey, you need to stop doing this. That's the reason why you're getting attacked. And a lot of it was, I was having, I had unforgiveness in my heart. And so that was, again, lowering my vibration down. So the Most High can't protect you if your vibration is too low. So it has to be at a certain level for him to come in and protect you. So that's what he was basically saying to me, hey, you need to stop doing this. And I remember hearing him, and I remember just and it was, I could tell he was upset, but he was, the Most High, he chastised people he loved. And so I remember he would just chastise me, and he was telling me hey, you need to, the reason why you're being attacked is because you still trying to live in the world. And so they're getting away with it, and I can't help you. You know what I'm saying? Until you cling on to me. Of course, I had to cling on to him. Get back in the book. Started praying. The more I prayed, the more I got closer, the more the attack started to lighten up a little bit more. Satan, he wasn't coming in like he usually do with the tactics, So, yeah, that was my encounters, with Satan in the dream state. Like I said, he masquerade as people that to get an agreement. Basically, that agreement is to come in, and try to, tactics, So be careful in the dream state. You see people that that's not people that That's Satan masquerading as those type of people. He's trying to get an agreement, a contract with you so he can enter your life and destroy you. God bless you.